For complex news, I'm Pierce Simpson. 2019 may very well be the year of player empowerment in professional sports. While we thought it was at its potential peak with LeBron's decision in 2010, that very moment was just a start. And what resulted over the weekend between Antonio Brown and the Oakland Raiders could very well be its tipping point. While it may be unfair to merely suggest that this weekend's activities was the end-all be-all when it comes to Antonio Brown and his various teams, it certainly provides a fitting culmination to 2019 and the fight for him to be free, as he put it. On Saturday morning before the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline in which teams make their Week 1 roster official, Antonio Brown was released by the Oakland Raiders. What's important about that 4 p.m. time frame is the fact that it had occurred 1 minute after the deadline. Brown's $14.5 million salary would essentially be guaranteed. But considering the fact the Raiders fined him nearly $250,000 for conduct detrimental to the team and subsequently voiding his $30 million in guaranteed money, all of that became a moot point. And as Brown put it, no guarantees, no way. So how exactly did we get here? How can a player that has future Hall of Fame potential and is arguably the greatest wide receiver of his generation will soon be on his third team in 2019 alone? Well, we have to go back to Week 17 of the 2018 regular season, where he was deactivated from the Steelers' do-or-die game for a berth in the playoffs. AB reportedly had issues with Ben Roethlisberger earlier in the week and went AWOL for the rest of it. That incident led to AB publicly asking for a trade through a medium that he's grown accustomed to, and that's social media. On February 19th, Brown went to Twitter and asked out of Pittsburgh. "Thank you, Steeler Nation, for a big 9 years. Time to move on and forward. #new demands." By March 1st, AB was taking more shots at his former team when he stopped by LeBron's uninterrupted and HBO series, The Shop. He explained that being labeled as a distraction was completely false, and he also explained how quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has, quote, an owner's mentality. 8 days later, on March 9th, Antonio Brown was dealt to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, with the thought being AB will replace the recently dealt Amari Cooper, who found his way to Dallas. Things early on seemed pleasant. AB found a new home and a new contract that would pay him roughly $39 million in guaranteed money. That included a $1 million signing bonus. On March 13th, Antonio was officially announced as the newest member of the Oakland Raiders. "I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here just to be a surge of energy, of positivity, and good force. A great teammate and to bring out the best of everyone around me because we all know it's not just about me." April 2019. Throughout the month of April, Antonio got into notable feuds with former teammates, both recent and past. On April 7th, his former protege Juju Smith-Schuster was the target of AB's, or let's just say collateral damage, of an emotional Pittsburgh Steelers fan as AB described it. A fan sent AB a screenshot of Juju Steelers MVP graphic from the 2018 season, in which the All-Pro had this to say. "Emotion. Boy fumbled the whole postseason in the biggest game of the year. Everyone went blind. Too busy making guys famous. Not enough reality these days. By the way, check the list." In recent weeks, Juju has spoken out about the fallout with Antonio and simply described himself as being disappointed in the situation. As for the other teammate that Brown got into it with in 2019, it was Ryan Clark of ESPN, formerly Brown's teammate from 2010 to 2013. Clark criticized AB on TV, even going so far as to say that homie is, quote, just not a good human, in which Brown fired back with his own thoughts. "Next time we meet, it's on site. Ain't gonna spare you." These two will go back and forth and actually still continue to trade shots at one another. July 2019. In late July, training camps opened up around the NFL, and with much optimism in Oakland with the new toy and John Gruden system, Antonio showed up to camp in style, landing in a hot air balloon. The theatrics are nothing new to AB, who's shown up to camp in a custom Rolls Royce and even a helicopter during his Pittsburgh days. But within a week, the optimism was derailed a bit. Antonio suffered a mysterious foot injury that left him with horrendous blisters. That injury turned out to be frostbite from a cryotherapy mishap. As the story goes, AB wore the wrong footwear while getting treatment in France. August 9th, 2019. Less than a week after news broke of his frostbite injury that was keeping him out of practice, more news emerged that he'd be out even longer. This time it involved a helmet grievance with the league. Brown's air-shut helmet that he worn since 2010 and even wore in college was recently banned by the NFL. Brown was hoping to be able to wear the helmet for one last season, considering that it was banned without a grandfather year. That grandfather year would give AB the right to wear it for one final season before switching. The process got so murky that AB even threatened to retire, and this messy situation created the first instance of potentially public beef between Brown and his new and former GM Mike Mayock. On August 18th, after missing yet another practice, Brown was challenged by his GM publicly. At this point, we've pretty much exhausted all avenues of relief, so from our perspective, it's time for him to be either all in or all out. By September 4th, after yet another failed helmet grievance, AB made the most out of the situation and turned the circumstances into dollars in the form of a helmet endorsement with Xenith. So problem solved. Well, not really. You see, within an hour, Mike Mayock fined Brown $54,000 for team-related absences. Sources state that Brown was pissed. The very next day, things went nuclear on September 5th. Brown allegedly went after Mike Mayock at practice. Brown was reportedly held back by teammates and allegedly called Mike Mayock a cracker. News quickly spread that the Raiders were looking into suspending Brown for his actions, thus putting his guaranteed money in jeopardy. On September 7th, Brown made an emotional apology to his teammates for his actions the previous day and calling the idea of him missing Week 1 against Denver. And less than 24 hours later, the Oakland Raiders voided the remaining guaranteed money on Brown's contract, roughly $29.1 million. With no guarantees, Brown requested his release from the Oakland Raiders. AB was so adamant about wanting out, he reportedly sought the help of social media consultants on how to expedite the process. And like everyone else, Brown found out on Twitter. Within the day, Brown was on his way to the defending champion New England Patriots, signing a one-year, $15 million contract with a $9 million signing bonus. To make things even more intriguing, there's an option for year 2 that is fully guaranteed for $20 million. When it's all said and done, Brown will count for approximately $50 million in dead cap money for 2 AFC franchises, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Oakland Raiders. And to make things even better, or worse, depending on what fan you are, if Brown leaves the Patriots next season, which seems to be likely, the Patriots could very well receive a third-round compensatory pick. According to reports, Tom Brady said that he's, quote, 1,000,000% in when it comes to welcoming Antonio Brown to New England, even offering space in his home for AB to crash. With the weapons of Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, and now the addition of AB, the Patriots are primed to bring home their 7th Super Bowl title. But before New England fans can enjoy the new weaponry in Brady's arsenal, that plan may be in jeopardy. On September 10th, the New York Times released a story that shows documents of a Florida lawsuit that accuses Antonio Brown of multiple acts of sexual assault. The lawsuit was brought forward by Brittany Taylor, a former trainer of Antonio Brown, who alleges that Brown not only sexually assaulted her, but in one act forcibly raped her. Alleged texts were shown in the article that depicts Brown taunting her about his alleged acts. Immediately after the story became public, Brown's legal team vehemently denied the allegations and described the entire lawsuit as being, quote, a money grab. Brown's agent Drew Rosenhaus went on ESPN on Wednesday and reinforced those sentiments. I wouldn't be doing this interview if I didn't believe Antonio. These allegations are false. He denies every one of them. I'm confident his legal team has facts that will prove this. Within the ESPN interview, Rosenhaus explained that he and Brown had anticipated the lawsuit coming forward, which opened up another line of questioning. Did the Patriots know about this before signing Antonio Brown? Did the Raiders even know about this situation? On Wednesday, unsurprisingly, head coach Bill Belichick didn't comment on the allegations involving Antonio Brown, and neither did quarterback Tom Brady. Antonio Brown hit the practice field on Wednesday and Thursday and wasn't made available to media post-practice when the story dropped. According to reports, the NFL is investigating the matter and is planning to speak with Brown's accuser next week. While the Patriots are planning to play the Dolphins in Week 2, the first time Brown is eligible to play for the Patriots, there's a possibility he could be placed on the commissioner's exempt list, thus making him ineligible to play. On Wednesday, Pittsburgh area prosecutors stated that they will look into the allegations facing Antonio Brown. Over the years, we've seen players dominate the headlines. That's nothing new. But Brown's summer of 2019 has been something different, something I don't think we've ever seen before, which seems to be a fitting depiction of the NFL in 2019. Just when you want to root for someone, their actions away from the field makes you question everything. What are your thoughts on Antonio Brown's summer of 2019? Let us know in the comment section down below, and be sure to keep it locked to Complex News by subscribing to us on YouTube. For Complex News, I'm Pierce Simpson.